Origin Chess, Home CG Reaction. This is America's first B-21 Raider. The whole world is afraid of. Yeah, this was a Militarist. Yeah, I've been watching military style video recently, and yeah, obviously B-21 is the newer one. I guess first bomber of 21st century. So B-21, somebody told me in the comment, I guess. Yeah, they resetted it, the code number very, like a few decades ago. That's why B2 and things like that. B1 Lancer, B2, right? So this is basically B2's newer incarnation, I guess. B2 was like that, very stealthy, like it wasn't the first one, but it was like the one that was like in, very famous in that way, right? In games and everywhere, like it looked like the alien type of way. B-21 kind of looks obviously like that. It's like a newer version of that, I'm guessing. So yeah, look at the vents on top and everything. So yeah, this is like unrivaled. China and everybody's trying to make one of it, and they can't even keep up with B2, let alone B-21. So this is going to be interesting. Yeah, so bombers can be really effed up. Let's just say war happens. Like if you're invading party, right? Because bomber can basically sweep through everything, destroy every key places, let's just say. Like somebody goes to war with America, like America goes to war with somebody, and America decides to attack, right? America knows which points to take out. America can just send B-21s before anybody knows what's happening. All the 90%, let's just say 95% of all targets are destroyed. By that point, you're crippled. You're literally crippled, right? And their spies, satellites and drones already know what to look for. So all the thing works so well. This is like if America tries to invade you, there's a high chance you're probably screwed. There are many other elements also plays, which is like in the past with all the wars. People say, oh, America hasn't won anything since World War II. There are many other elements are played here, right? America is a democratic country. They have to sell things to their own people, like how this is justified, how this is moral and things like that. So that's the reason. Otherwise, if just point blank a bad entity rises up and America decides to invade, yeah, that's just in today's world, it would be over very fast with what America has, right? So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's watch it. Remember, flag my channel for subscribe. So I know we start videos to react to more. Check out the Rick this link in the season. And yeah, let's watch it.
The bomber fleet has been a cornerstone of this nation's air power, and tonight we roll out the next generation of capability. We prepare to unveil the most capable stealth bomber ever built. This next generation aircraft defines what this nation is capable of in technology for national defense. Digitally designed, enabled, and maintained, the B-21 Raider represents a view into the future and brings it to the here and now.
7 years to build. 25 plus years of dominance. $630 million bomber.
Yeah, that's cheaper compared to B2, isn't it? B2 costs certain billions, like 2 billion or something. So 630 million, that's good. For bomber, that's good.
Meet the first B-21 Raider the whole world is afraid of. Bombers race is brewing between the U.S. and China. In a move that would put the U.S. ahead in the race, the first B-21 Raider has finally been unveiled after 7 years of development. However, for China, this is far from game over. Like the U.S., China is working on a brand new bomber with a similar flying wing design as the B-2 Spirit. This new Chinese bomber is known as the Xi'an H-20.
Yeah, it's 20. It's called 20. So it can sound like B-21. I don't know. Why is it called 20? Is it 20th incarnation? I don't know where the numbering from that comes from. I saw the task and purpose video on it. And radar cross-section is not even close to like any other stealth technology US has that are not like bomber technology of B-21. Bombers are like, they sacrifice a lot in these bombers to make it perfectly stealthy in that way, right? With every small thing, and they keep everything inside, so there is nothing that can reflect back. Now, I don't know which is the best stealth plane, this F-35 or F-22, but F-35 is like smaller, isn't it? So I don't know, that could be better stealthier than this. This is bigger, but I'm pretty sure the way they made this, like the most stealthier thing is probably going to be this.
This is only another testament to how well China has managed to stay side by side with the U.S. in the bomber space, despite the U.S. having 25 years of bomber dominance through the $2 billion B-2 Spirit. However, even during this time of B-2 dominance,
Seriously, nothing to take away from China, right? China has been OP in a way. If you don't think about America and think about everything else, China has been really insanely dominant, especially in how short time they've been, right? I mean, China started to go bigger and bigger in what, 2007, 2008. Post that, it just become way too bigger, and now they're making their own bomber that could be similar to US's one. That's an insane feat, right? Making anything of your own in military wise is insane. On top of that, like trying to keep up with US, that's also insane, right? In the past, like Russia, US has been like competing things, who makes military things. There are other countries as well, like France, Sweden, countries like that also makes things. But making something at this scale, China's doing insane shit. How does that even compare? That looks like a basic bomber, basically. How does that compare to B-2? I'm pretty sure it's not stealthy at all, right?
Race between the world powers until the unveiling at the Northrop Grumman facility that introduced the world to America's most lethal bomber, the $630 million B-21 Raider. The B-21 Raider. The B-21 Raider is the world's first sixth-generation aircraft. The bomber equivalent of the sixth-generation NGAD fighter under development and born of the B-2 Spirit, the B-21 is designed as an optionally manned bomber that's the lead of a larger family of systems for long-range strikes, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare. The program that would birth the B-21 began in 2011, but it would take 4 years to select a contractor from a heated battle between a Boeing Lockheed Martin team and Northrop Grumman.
Yeah, people see Obama as this like a snowflake left-winger, right? Who's like too soft on things. I don't know why that's the case. I guess you just like your allegiance to right-wing. You will see Obama? Yeah, Obama. Obama is soft. But even though no president has done more drone bombing than Obama, right? Obama is the one who basically signed off on this thing in 2011. So obviously, Obama has done a lot of things that shows as a military aggressor than anything else. And yet people see still like, oh, he's a soft. No, he was left-winger where it mattered, right? He was like a liberal where it mattered. But he also knew like where to be aggressor, right? I mean, you can have the, I'm a conservative, so I'll never praise Obama. I don't understand that. Don't join party like that. You can hate Obama for many things. There are many things, but you can just appreciate where he was, right?
Northrop Grumman, with decades of stealth bomber experience from the B-2, won the contract to develop the B-21 by offering the most economical cost for the capabilities requested by the Air Force. Cost is a crucial point to consider when developing stealth bombers. This was a lesson learned from the B-2, with a cost per unit aircraft similar to the GDPs of some countries. To build the B-21 to requirements with economical costs, Northrop Grumman teamed up with 400 suppliers across 40 states, all operating continuously for the past 7 years, even during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Of these suppliers are 7 of the world's
It's better, isn't it? Pandemic is better for military because it's like lockdown. I mean, lockdown can't affect military. There's like, oh, it's for national security. Shut the fuck up. Just move aside. Military things can still go on. Who's going to stop them, right? Military trucks can still go through the interstate when nobody's there. So if anything, this made it better. Like, they don't have to worry about somebody catching eye of something that is happening.
World's most reputable companies as Tier 1 suppliers of the program. These include renowned jet engine manufacturer Pratt & Whitney, the largest defense contractor in Europe, BAE Systems, the world's largest first-tier aerostructures manufacturer, Spirit Aerosystems, Northrop Grumman's orbital ATK, Rockwell Collins, GKN Aerospace, and Janicki Industries. All these companies, led by Northrop Grumman, developed the B-21 into a $630 million bomber with capabilities never seen before. This makes the B-21 Raider about 68% less costly than the B-2, while being significantly more capable. Although the B-21 had 2+ decades of technological advancement on its side, this remains a military aviation wonder. Lethal as they like, the Air Force plans to acquire a minimum of 100.
Imagine seeing that night. Oh my god, what the fuck if we all die? That's a scary thought. Seriously, imagine standing outside. It's like a almost night, but let's just say, end of the evening. It's night, but everything's somewhat lit up, and you somehow see this shadow with 2 lights inside, one red or white coming towards you. Like, oh my god.
B-21s, with the possibility of going as high as 145 units if the bomber can pass its tests in flying colors. Almost literally. Once introduced into service, the B-21 will initially work alongside other strategic bombers in the U.S. fleet, including the B-52 Stratofortress, the B-1 Lancer, and the B-2 Spirit, before eventually replacing both the B-1 Lancer and the B-2, marking the end of the B-2 dominance, or maybe a glorious continuation of it in another skin. Either way, the U.S. would have a bomber that would project the might of the U.S. military across every corner of the globe, with the operational range of a ship and the firepower of nuclear weapons. This is what China is up against this time, and their next move in the bomber race could only come from their new Xi'an H-20 bomber, and the country probably knows this. In fact, the renderings of H-20 came about the same time as those of the B-21. To know how good an equal of the H-20 would be, it would have to go head-to-head against the B-21. Finally, B-21 versus H-20. The American B-21 against the Chinese H-20. One of these is the most powerful, most advanced bomber ever developed. Which would wear the crown boils down to 3 main categories: stealth, avionics, and armament. Stealth. The B-21 will be built from the ground up as a stealth aircraft, drawing from the stealth experience of the B-2. Alignment of edges, serrated skin panels, masking of the engine with fiber matte skin, and an overall flying wing shape are only some of what to expect. The B-21, like the B-2, will also likely be painted in anti-reflective paint to reduce optical visibility during daylight flights. The undersides will be dark because it flies at high altitudes, over 50,000 feet up, and at that altitude, a dark painting blends perfectly into the sky. To ensure it always blends with the sky, an upward-facing light sensor will be on board the B-21 to alert the pilot to increase or reduce altitude to match the changing illuminance of the sky. To maintain the stealth feature.
Yeah, so like, well, I think it was Metro games, right? In Metro games, you wear a watch. If you're in the light, it tells you, oh my god, people, enemies can see you. Apparently, that's not bullshit. Apparently, you can do that. There you go. It will tell you when you're visible to people, like, oh, rise up or low down or whatever. Okay, I'm pretty sure like S20 like doesn't have that much of a stealthiness, right? From taking from that video from yeah. So H20 doesn't have this level. And I mean, come on, man. Like history of US with the B2 and everything. Like you need to have this kind of history and trial and error if you want to make something perfect. China can just pick it up and just like, oh, I'm going to make something good.
Of these flying wing aircraft, they could be stored in specialized air-conditioned hangars that cost at least $5 million. The Chinese H-20 also has a flying wing design and, like the Chinese J-20 fighter, would employ a holistic approach to reduce its radar cross-section. The chimed forebody, modified radar radome, and electroconductive canopy will be shaped to yield a signature performance. Serpentine ducts, a flat fuselage bottom, and sawtooth edges would also come into play for the bomber. But the experience of the Americans in stealth with both the B-2 and the F-35 can hardly be matched anytime soon. After all, F-35 has a radar cross-section tinier than that of a metal golf ball. The B-2 Spirit is currently the stealthiest aircraft in history, and the B-21 is fitting to be stealthier than both of them. Avionics. To make the B-21 more decisive than previous bombers, the aircraft will feature many advanced and modern avionics systems that form a single integrated system. Some of these systems include a multi-mode.
You see how that looks like a triangle shape? Now, you know that TikTok UFO, right? I know it's a Tic Tac UFO, right? Now, Tic Tac UFO, I mean, this is a shape, a bit of blur, a bit of speed, somebody not looking at. They can see this as a Tic Tac. Look at that, right? Even so, if it's triangle, you can kind of see it. I always said, like, okay, all these UFOs, but it could be something that military is working on. It could be B-21 radar when all this shit was happening. And that's why military knew all this is happening. That's why they created all this wing and talking about, oh, we're going to take this seriously. They already know it's one of their craft. That's why. Otherwise, they would never acknowledge it.
That form a single integrated system. Some of these systems include a multi-mode radar, a fully digital navigation system integrated with terrain-following radar and GPS guidance, an astro-inertial navigation system to navigate using orbiting bodies in space, an AESA radar, an electronic warfare system, a distributed aperture system, an electro-optical targeting system, among others. Link 16 and a high-frequency satellite link are used for battlefield communications, and a defensive management system to inform the flight crew of possible threats and allow changes to the auto router's mission planning information while in flight, so it can receive new data quickly to plan a route that minimizes exposure to the discovered dangers for members of the fleet. This makes the B-21 a central point in the sensor fusion system and therefore enables the bomber to be an effective battle manager. For safety and fault detection purposes, an onboard test system will be linked with the majority of avionics on the B-21 to continuously monitor the performance and status of thousands of components and consumables. The H-20 will more or less have a similar lineup of avionics, just the Chinese-made versions of them. The extent of how well they compare to or even surpass their American counterparts is left for the future to tell. Armament. Much like
Is it for the future to tell though? Unless US and China go toe-to-toe and you somehow use their bombers, how are we gonna know, right? I mean, for Russia, everybody just thought like Russia's too OP, like equivalent to USA, and when the Ukraine shit happened, and then realized like all the minus point of it. Like how tanks are not working, everything's not in order, ships are not working right. I mean, when you are just like people below you that are afraid of you and just tell you everything's working great, boss, I mean, of course that's gonna happen. Just I don't know about China as well, like how good this is gonna be, how are we gonna know? It's always gonna be question mark there. Like is it the same? Is it not?
Like its predecessor, the B-21 will be capable of carrying over 30,000 pounds of armament, consisting of a variety of nuclear weapons like the B-61 Variable Yield Nuclear Gravity Bomb and the Long-Range Standoff Nuclear Cruise Missile, along with gravity bomb and the long-range standoff nuclear cruise missile,
Variable gravity,
along with a number of conventional weapons. Absorbing the ability of the B-1 Lancer, the B-21 would be able to launch Lockheed Martin's long-range anti-ship missile. It would also wield modern weapons, such as Boeing's GPS-guided Joint Direct Attack munition, which are designed to engage targets from the greatest distances. All of these would make the B-21 the ideal stealth aircraft to engage surface combatant ships in places like the South China Sea. According to the United States Department of Defense, the H-20 is expected to wield a minimum of 22,000 pounds of armament that enable China to reliably threaten U.S. targets as far away as Hawaii and beyond. It is important to note that not much is known about the exact details surrounding the H-20, as it remains a Chinese Air Force secret. However, on paper and timeline, the B-21 does have an edge over the Chinese bomber, and for that reason, the B-21 wants you to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like.
Well, every time you subscribe to this channel, it just lights up subscribe button. That's a new thing YouTube added. That's something. Yeah, so basically, American first, like B-21 is going to be better than S-20. Let's just, yeah. I'm not saying China can't do it. I'm just saying China can't just like jump to it, right? China's slowly, maybe for multiple decades from now, China will have something that America has, I guess. But even then, like America still will have. It's basically like Silicon race, right? What basically Taiwan can make it, right? TSMC, what they can make it, nobody else can. Why? Because they have like a literal head start, right? Or somebody catches up to them, they're already ahead because during that time they were making even something more better. That's how it works here, right? So America has the history of B2 and all the bone B1, right? They can basically see all that. They can have all the companies that work together and make something that's untouchable. China can't just directly jump to it. Oh, I'm going to do it. So I don't think, that H-20 is going to be that good. But apart from B-21, apart from what America has, I'm pretty sure H-20 is going to be really powerful. right? But it depends, right? I mean, is it even done, right? Is it even working, or is it just like they're trying to like make some kind of psychological warfare? They can do it right, so they're just saying we have done it, so everybody stays on their edges, I guess, right? So I don't know, just to show force. Like Russia has done that in the past many times, psychological warfare, where they say something is something, but it's not, just to have this kind of like a pressure on. Who knows? But yeah, B-21, B-2 was untouchable. B-21 is going to be even more untouchable. It's going to be cheaper. That's how it goes today. Everything's cheaper now because of the material science is just better. Everything's becoming more efficient, I guess. So there you go. Yeah. All right. Well, if you like my reaction, like and subscribe. Did the button light up? If you want me to do any specific reaction, comment down, and yeah, check out the other reaction I did. There's a link in the description. I'm gonna end the card right now, I guess. And yeah, I'll see you next time.